Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is What a Joke. And what I mean by that is this article that you see before you by this little hat individual, David Nachman or whatever however you say it. And it's called Deuteronomy 28:68, Debunking the Myth of the Black Hebrew Israelites. This is dated February 11th, 2019. I had this article for maybe a couple of weeks now, maybe a week and a half, because I was looking into something and I ran across it. And I read a little bit further down into it, but then I just recently, a little while ago, was reading from the beginning of it. And, this is going to show you the desperation of these devils, these Amalekites, in their attempt to try to debunk, the truth. I just want to pull up something that just came to mind. Just bear with me 1 second. I believe that's, if I'm not mistaken, just bear with me. No, let me try. Okay. So this is the desperation. This is the low, levels that the devil will stoop down to. Yep, that's a good one. KDC already hot on the trail. But you are forgers of lies, you are all physicians of no value. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord. All right. Let me try to contain myself for a minute. All right. So we're gonna read into this madness. February 11, 2019. It says Deuteronomy 28:68. And keep in mind, they keep saying black Hebrew Israelites, but we're not black Hebrew Israelites. We are the Hebrew Israelites. Get it right, troop. It says, check this out. And the Lord will bring you back to Egypt in ships, through the way about which I had said to you, you will never see it again. And there you will seek to be sold to your enemies for slaves and handmaids, but there will be no buyer. So this is what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that the scriptures say that you're going to have no buyers. You're going to sell yourself into slavery. You're going to go into slave by slave ships. You're going to sell yourself into slavery, but nobody's going to want to buy you. But that's not the kicker. All right. When you read down further, it says here in ships of captivity. Right. I got some Hebrew here. All right, and then it says here, and there you will seek to be sold to your enemies. You will wish to be sold to them as slaves and handmaids, which that makes absolutely no sense. You want to wish yourself, you wishing yourself to be sold to somebody, and they ain't having it. They nah, we can't buy you, man. Your name is mud around here. Come on, get on up out of here, right? Now here we go. It gives you more, right? So these are like different versions in the Hebrew that they're bringing out. It says, but there will be no buyer because they will decree death and destruction upon you. Say what? And see, this is the desperation of these devils. Now, you have here, you have the word here, harag, which the word harag means to kill. All right, and this is this quana. That's buy, redeem. So this is supposed to be the end of the 28th verse, and then this is written after, right? So it says, and you will seek to be sold, right? That is, the verb is in the reflexive conjugation. Accordingly, it is incorrect to explain wahatha karathum as if the passive conjunction, an example as, give you more. It says, and you will be sold by others, because the verse continues, but there would be no buyer. Thus, how could they be sold by others if there is no buyer? So you guys are a bunch of retards. So they give you more Hebrew, right? It says the Aramaic translation known as Targum Yonatan ben Uziel. All right. I'm trying to see, there was a point. That was the point right there. Right here. But there will be no buyer because they will decree death and destruction upon you. Now, when you go to the actual Deuteronomy 28 and 68 in the Bible, right? Let's just go there real quick. I want to show you something. 28, 68, right? This is the King James Version. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, keep in mind, that's the end of the chapter. That's the end of the 68th verse and the end of the chapter. Now, what I did was, just to look through, I went through every translation in here. Every translation. Every English translation. The Spanish translation. The Latin Vulgate. The Greek. Even this last one down here. The Textus Receptus. I went through all of them. Right, especially in the English and the Spanish and and all these, and there's nowhere in there where it says and they will seek to kill you. That's nowhere in there. This is something that these devils added. Now, when you go through the Hebrew portion of it, right, this is the end of the Hebrew here. So you have wala shapachwath, right, which means and bondwomen. Because when you go up above that, la ibadium, la is two, ibad is servant, and yum is plural. So in masculine plural. La ibadium is two servants, or as servants. Then it's, as you see it right there, for bondmen, wala shapachwath, and bondwomen, because the wath at the end of a word makes it plural. So you see it there in bondwomen, it says wa ayan, and no man, Quana, shall buy you, or shall buy. All right, and this means redeem. You could use the word as buying, like as far as buying and selling, but it's also used as redeem. And when you read through the whole book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, there are different verses in there that says that you won't be able to save yourself, that others won't be able to save you. So pretty much it's talking about a redemption. Now keep in mind, I went through all of them, right? Through all of these versions, and they all pretty much read the same. Now, when I went to the Latin, right, Deuteronomy 28, 68, I went, I kind of read through it, and what I did was I copied these last three words because this is the end of the verse. And I went to Google Translate Latin to English, and edit qui emat, I'm not pronouncing it correctly, who will buy you? Who will buy you? So even in the Latin Vulgate, in the Hebrew, in the Latin Vulgate, in the English, in the Spanish, all of them say the same thing, right? So I typed in online Deuteronomy 28:69, and this is what popped up. It says Tree of Life version, TLV. Then this is the 69th verse. All right, check this out. These are the words of the covenant that Adonai commanded Moses to make with Bnei Israel in the land of Moab, in addition to the covenant he made with them at Horeb. Now, it doesn't mention anything about killing, which y'all know about killing, inside joke. But what I did was I typed in online what year was the Tree of Life version, printed. The Tree of Life version of the Holy Scriptures, first published in 2014, is a Messianic Jewish translation of the Hebrew Bible, or Tanakh, which the Hebrew Bible would be the Torah, or the Tanakh, which comprises the whole Old Testament. The Ta is for the word Thawara, which is Torah in the Hebrew. Then you have the Na, which is a shortened way of saying Nabaya, which is prophet. Nabayayim is prophets. And then the Kathab at the end, or Kawathabium, which means the writings or the history. So this is what the Old Testament comprises of. When you hear somebody say the Tanakh or the Tanakh, it's talking about the Torah, the prophets, and the history. All right. It says, and the New Testament or New Covenant, sponsored by the Messianic Jewish Family Bible Society and the King's University. So before I ran into all of this information here, what I did was I have 2 Torahs that I had actually bought back in the 90s, in the early 90s, early to mid 90s, and what I have is I have one that is an Old Testament only, the Tanakh or Tanakh, and then I have one that has an Old and New Testament in Hebrew, all in Hebrew. So the one in all Hebrew from the Old Testament, from Genesis to Malachi, is printed by the British and Foreign Bible Society, and this one was printed in 1995. Now, when you go to Deuteronomy 28:68, which I not sure if I would have been able to find this online, so matter of fact, just give me 1 second. Let me see if I could find it. Let me see. 28. Just bear with me 1 second. Now, I found this one here, which this is not in the. It's not in the scriptures, right? In the any of these other versions I saw, but here it gives you the 69th verse, which you read from the Tree of Life. Now I don't know if this is supposed to be the Tree of Life, or it's the Hebrew. And it just reads, these are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Now, when you go to the actual, in both of these Bibles that I have, one of them, like I said, was from the British and Foreign Bible Society. That's the Old Testament only. And the other one is the Bible Society in Israel. And both of these Bibles were printed in 1995. All right. And now in 1995, that's when the Israelites were hot and heavy all throughout Harlem and certain other cities, giving these devils hell. So I'm under the impression that that's when they started, they started putting this stuff in there. Now this one doesn't say anything about killing, which I know about killing. But then when you read both of these that I have in book form, when you read through the Hebrew portion, it speaks about, giving the words of the covenant and the commandments of the Most High to Moses to kill definitely sons of Israel, which they have the word there, karath, which is, to cut. It says Ath, or definitely Banya Yasha'ala, which is the sons of Israel, in the earth, Mawa'aba, which is Moab, Malabad. Then it says Hakaryath, or Hakaryath, Asherah, Karath, Atham, which is cut, use, Ba Karab, in sword. But wait a minute, that's nowhere in there. This was something that they added. So this is why, see, and somebody that would be fool enough to believe this crap would get all messed up, and be like, oh man, these guys, I thought this was the truth, man. This guy just, said right there that they would be put to death, man. That's why they didn't buy him. And that's why, you have to be able to discern. Like the Apostle Paul said, oh, how I am straightened until Yahweh shall be formed in you. So this is a whole bunch of mumble jumble this guy just put all together. You know, I put the description in the link in the description box in case any brothers want to go through it. You know, but this is the main point. Like so far, I've picked up on. You know, that I wanted to address. You know, and I'm pretty sure, you know, keep going through here, you're gonna find other stuff that's bugged out. You know, but I just wanted to bring that out because neither here in the any of the English translations, the Spanish translation, the Latin, these Greek translations, you know, that you're not gonna see any of that anywhere in there. You know, and in all the Greek translations, the word here, kotekos, it doesn't really break it down here. Let's see what this says. Kotemahi, to acquire, get, or procure a thing for oneself, to possess, to marry a wife. You know, so it doesn't say anything about anybody getting killed. And what I did just for the halibut, just for the hell of it, I said, you know what, let me go to the 29th chapter in the first verse, Deuteronomy 29:1. Maybe it's there. It says, the covenant in Moab. These are the words of the covenant which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of Moab, beside the covenant which he made with them in Horeb. Which some versions have the 29th chapter in the first verse as the 69th verse of the 28th chapter of Deuteronomy. All right. So what this does, it makes these devils liars. It makes them look desperate. And what they're doing is they're adding to the scriptures. And we know what the scriptures say about adding to the scriptures. Deuteronomy 4 and 2. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your power, which I command you. Proverbs 30:5. Every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. That's right. Revelation 22:18. For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Most High shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of the book of this prophecy, the Most High shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. Because these devils, they love to blaspheme. You know, that's one of the things that in Revelation 13 the beast would do when they would come back into power. You know, they would blaspheme. Well, even when they were the Greeks, they were blaspheming the Lord back then. You know, because that scripture in Maccabees, where it said they sought to paint the likeness of their image, that was actually in the Greek Empire. The Greeks, you know, the Edomite Greeks actually did that. You know, but this is something that Esau has carried along from empire to empire. There's no difference now, you know. And then during the time of the Renaissance period, that's when he did his greatest deception, which is being found out right now. What do we got here? Now, building on the Deuteronomy 28 and 68, let's go to the KJV. Let's go to the word, no man shall buy you, right? Because I mentioned that it could be used for buying, but it could also be used. Okay, that's the 29th chapter. It could also be used for redeeming. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. All right. Now, when we go down here, the word you is not there, right? No man shall buy. Shall buy is a word quanah, right? It says to get, acquire, create, buy, possess. To get, acquire, obtain. Of the Most High originating, creating, redeeming his people. All right. Now, when we go to Deuteronomy 32 and verse 6, it says, do ye thus requite the Lord Yahweh, O foolish people, speaking to Israel, you Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and unwise? Is not he thy father that hath bought thee? Hath he not made thee and established thee? So let's see what the word bought thee there is. And when we search through here, that bought thee, lo and behold, the word quana, same number, H7069, H7069. And what does it mean? You could use it to actually buy, or you could use it as of the Most High originating, creating, redeeming His people. You know, it's used as a redemption clause or redemption. And when you know the law, there are certain laws that are for redemption. You know, whether it be your brother, you know, that may be rich and you might have fallen in decay and sold yourself to a nation, he was able to redeem you back by buying you back or redeeming you back. So the Most High redeemed us because nobody was going to be able to get us out of that condition, because those were the curses that were put directly upon us by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? So these devils they're clever, but they're not that clever. You know, and then what they do is they'll put, like, this is Aramaic translation known as a Targum, Jonathan Ben Uziel, and he's saying this is early 1st century, right? But notice in here it says nothing about killing. It says nothing about killing. We didn't see anywhere so far that I looked. There's nowhere that says anything about you being killed, and that's why they're not going to buy you. The only places where this is found are 2 of the books that I bought back in the 90s, and it says in there about killing, you know, about with the sword. But these were printed in 1995. All right, 1995, which shows you that these devils are adding to it, and back then, even and now too, more so now, but back then Esau was getting the hell kicked out of him with these scriptures. So that was an act of desperation. You know, that was an act of desperation, which shows you that they know that we have the truth, but they have to use these tactics because that's what they do. They underhanded tactics. Now we quoted somebody else up here, Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, 1040 to 1105 CE. This was about in the medieval times, right? And ships of captivity. Yeah, but where's the killing part? Because over here it says, but there will be no buyer, because they will decree death and destruction upon you. You know? So these devils are desperate. Devils are desperate. So I just wanted to, make a quick mention of that. Lord's will, your brothers are edified, your few sisters. To the next time I say shalom.